Business to Business Marketing for Tradies and Builders by yours truly, John. If you run a trade business or a building business and you get your work from other businesses as opposed to from consumers and individual people, then you need to be doing business to business marketing, don't you? And before you get funny about marketing and say, I don't just mean advertising, that's not what I mean, and you say you don't really do it, right? You do, we wouldn't get any business. Some people say to me, I don't do any marketing, John, I get all my business through word of mouth. And yeah, but I quiz them a bit, say, did you build a website? Yeah, I've got a website. Do you have signage on your vehicles? Yeah, I do. Do you ever make phone calls and ask people for work? Yeah, I do that, but that's not marketing. Well, it is. It is marketing. So there you go. You're doing it. Most people are getting their relationship, or most people in that position rather, are getting their work from relationships they've built with people over the years or whatever. That's marketing. So for most of you, some business to business marketing, and specifically some business to business relationship marketing, making phone calls, making friends, building trust, liking each other, wanting to help each other out, that's marketing. For most people, that's going to be the cornerstone of how you grow your business. If you're a builder who does architectural work, the fancy houses, architects and designers can give you or recommend you for work. So they're very important to you. You should be building relationships with some of those. If you do fit out work, for example, office fit outs and shop fit outs and the like, strata managers and the owners of businesses big enough to source the work can be very useful. The larger companies, we all like those. For government agencies, it's very similar. You need to be getting on the panels. You need to be able to talk to the people who can help you navigate that stuff. For work subcontracting to builders, it's the same. You need to talk to the builders if you're a subcontract construction trade. For work controlled by property managers in the, for rental properties, same thing again. For work, if you want to do work with larger companies, you need to contact them directly. All the people employed by the businesses that you want to do work for, or the people who own those businesses, they're either in control of the work, of who gets it, or they have some influence. All of them make their awards or their recommendations based on relationships they have with people they trust to do the work. People like you. Very few of them are jumping on Google and thinking, oh, let me see if I can find a plumber to do this important thing. They've all got a relationship with somebody, or they've all got people like you knocking on the door, asking for work and building relationships, like I'm suggesting you do. So if you don't want to be at the mercy of word of mouth, and if you don't want to find yourself with work drying up sometimes, you need to do business to business relationship marketing. You need to call people up, you need to ask for work, you need to build some relationships and build the trust and build the knowing each other and liking each other so they consider you for work and so they invite you to bid when an opportunity comes up for them. Now remember, all the above are people who can give you repeat work, so they're worth an investment. I'm not supposing you start cold calling strangers like some Indian call center selling a power plant. Remember also, these people need people like you to do their job properly. It's important their stuff goes well for them. They need people they can trust and rely on. You don't get that readily from a Google ad for a large project. If you're any good, at least, they need you. You're not calling to beg for work, you're useful. So a question for you, the question again. How many calls have you made this week to people who can give you work or refer you into work, if you want the kind of work I described a minute ago? Because that's how this works. You make phone calls, you schedule meetings and coffees to build these relationships and to develop and nurture them and improve them and to progress opportunities as well, right? And deliver the quotes that you've been asked to do and all that other good stuff. If you do this kind of work and you're not consistently investing in this work that I'm talking about, the relationship marketing work, then you're setting yourself up to be pissed off down the track when it dries up and when you're stuck in a lull between projects. So back to my question, how many of these calls have you made in the last week? How many did you make the week before and the week before? It's probably not a big number. In my experience, most people are saying things to me like, yeah, not many, John, when I ask this question. I can quite confidently say it probably should be significantly bigger, particularly if you want to grow. And look, specifically, I mean calls you initiate to try and drum up some business, to try and find an opportunity. Be wary of just calling your usual crew, the people you know, people you normally talk to, and asking them if there's anything on. You do that, but you've got to go outside that, especially if you want to grow. New blood is the lifeblood here. A powerful way to turn your B2B relationship marketing into a machine, right? A machine that works consistently, not just when you're feeling a bit stressed that a dry patch is coming, but all the time, so you don't get those dry patches. A powerful way to turn your B2B marketing, your relationship marketing into a machine is to count these calls and track them. I took this from a book I read 20 years ago. It's called Wombat Selling by a man called Dr. Michael Hewitt Gleason. And he talked about exactly this, how it's your job to get out there and initiate the conversations so that people can consider whether they want to buy from you or not. That's up to you. You can do it with marketing and your ads, but in a business-to-business context, specifically for you guys, this is your main thing. He talks how you should measure your outbound sales and marketing activity, he talks about how your customer can only buy from you if they're in contact with you, which makes sense. It makes sense that it's up to you to do that initiating, because if you're not, they're not going, oh, I need a tradie. They've got one, looking at them going, oh, all right. So in very rare circumstances, or except in very rare circumstances, it's on you to be calling and asking. Don't just sit there and hope. It's not a good strategy, right? You can reach out with your marketing, of course you can, with ad spend and the likes, and you can encourage people with it to get in touch. You can, and that's not ineffective. But this stuff is stuff you can do without spending money, not that difficult. It can get a quick return, and those relationships that you build can last you a long time and stand you in good stead. So I'm focused on calls and emails, your outbound communication attempts. If you're serious about your business and not wanting to have quiet periods, and you should be, then you need to be doing this, and you need to be doing it enough that you should measure. Start tracking your numbers. I made this tracker from the book. I copied it from his book. It's called the Today Tomorrow Report, or the TT Report. And every day you record how many call attempts you made, how many outbound attempts, how many you forecast you're going to make tomorrow. I've put space for you in it to tally them up in a little tally chart. You'll know the one like a gate. And space for the total for the day. Space for the number of actual conversations you had, because you don't always get through, of course. Space for the meetings you have, and space for the sales you make, or the quotes you make and the sales you make. Because of course it flows through like that. I want you to record it. I've put the sales and things in there because I want you to notice what happens if you make more calls, because I think you will notice something happens. So comment TT report and I'll get it to you, and take it seriously. It's important.